So for this problem, you're going to input the data into your calculator. This will be our first column, and this will be our second. I think they call them L1 and L2 in the calculator. So we'll type in 97, 98, 99. So 1997, 1998, 1999, 2000, and all the way up to 2002. 2001, and 2002. So that's list one. List two is the Y values, which are 1093, 1150, 1223, 1309, 1421, and 1553. 1421. And 1553. So once you get both columns, the X column and the Y column typed in for list one and list two, you need to select regression. If it's not showing up, just push exit to make sure you get back to your first menus. So we want regression, so F3. And then it's linear, so we just want the regular X, so that's F1. And AX plus B, because that looks like MX plus B is what I'm going to pick. And there's our equation. So once again, to get through all the way to your regression, you got to select calc first, then regression, and then since it's linear, it's X, and then AX plus B. So there's our equation for our linear regression. The slope is A, 91.4 is the slope, and then B, they're giving that to us in scientific notation, so we'll be careful when we write that down. So our equation is 91.4x y equals 91.4x, and then the intercept is negative 1.814 E5. So negative 1.814. And it said E5, which is the same thing as saying times 10 to the fifth, which means you have to move the decimal 5 spots, 3, 4, 5, and fill in those zeros. So there's our equation, y equals 91.4x minus 181,400. Now, when it says use the line of regression, we're going to now type that into our calculator for y1, and then we're going to plug in the year 2005. So if you have a Casio, you can copy it. If you have a TI, you have to retype it. So let's copy, and we want to paste it into Y1, so just push Enter or EXE to paste it. Now it should be in there when we go to our graph. There's our equation. And it actually is displaying a little bit better. It's 181462. So when we look at it that way, it's actually showing us that those two digits are 62, but it doesn't really matter. So when you use the copy and paste trick, the only problem is the equal sign is not highlighted because it's not selected. So if you were to try to draw it right now, it's going to give you an error because you first need to select it. So push F1 to select. And now it will draw. We probably won't see anything because our window's not set right. Since we're talking about years, we want something around the year 2000. Let's change our viewing window. We need to start with our X values at like 1990, because that was the first year that we really talked about, somewhere around there. And then our maximum, we're trying to predict into the year 2000 something, so I think the year 2010 would probably be a good ending point, because it's only asking about 2005. Once you get your X value set, you can draw it. We still won't see anything because our Y values aren't set, but that's an easy fix if you do zoom auto. So push F2 for zoom, and then select auto. And there we'll be able to see the line. So we want the expenditures for 2005 rounded to the nearest whole number. So that's our X values, 2005. So we're going to go to G-solve. We know the X value, so that means the calculator is going to do the Y. So we need Y-calc, because the calculator is doing the Y. We know the X value is 2005. And the Y value is 1794.2. It says round it to the nearest whole, so 1794. So alternatively, if you don't want to do it from the graph, you could have done it from a table. You could have gone main menu option 5 to get the table. You still need to select it, just like we did with the graph. Then you can go to the table and just type in the X value that you want, 2005. That will do the same thing and give you the 1794.2. It's using the same equation. It's going to get you the same value. And you don't have to worry about the window if you do it from the table. So use the line of regression to predict when the national health expenditures will reach $1710 billion. So that's the Y value. So let's go back to our graph. And we want to know when the Y value is 1710. So we're going to do G-solve. This time we know the Y, the calculator needs to do the X. So you select X-calc, because the calculator does the X. And we're looking for when is it 1710. So you do Y value 1710, and it's pretty much the year 2004. Again, you could do that from the table, but it might take a lot of work, because you'd have to guess. So maybe the year 2000, and then maybe type in 2001, We're getting closer because we're looking for the number 1710. So type in 2003. Getting closer because we're at 1611. We want the number 1710. And you find it the next time you type in 2004. It's pretty close. 1702 is pretty close to the 1710. So you could use the table, but that's pretty tough.